Welcome back to Horrifically Well Read, Bled, and Said. We are so excited today to welcome Abby Vail, author of Writhe, coming October 28th, a novella that I think everyone is going to really, really, really enjoy. I know I did, and we are so excited to have this conversation. Welcome, Abby, to the pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and we're pleased that we can be your hymen breaker. I know I'm
Oh
joking.
my
I'm
God.
sorry. Look, it's her first podcast, okay? We took
Immediately.
I said, listen, can I make it awkward for you? And she thought I
And
was
she said,
joking.
not.
She gave permission. No, I
She
gave
giggled, but I
permission.
don't think listen, it's really more to upset Adam. But no, seriously, we're so pleased that we can be your first podcast. I think you're gonna have a really great time. And we always love to start out with give us your background on your history with horror.
Okay. Well, it goes back to probably watching a couple of horror movies too young, and my parents hate when I say that because looking back, I think they kick themselves for what I've turned into.
Your poor formative
But
life. Yeah.
yeah. Definitely Michael Myers was a big one. Halloween is probably the thing that I delved into. I was really obsessed with. I was equally as afraid of him as I was obsessed with him, in a fun way. I
Really?
think most horror people can understand, you can have your biggest fear you also are so curious about that you can't really get enough of it. And that was Michael Myers to me.
Love it.
I remember being in the room with my father and he was watching a movie called They Nest. And I haven't watched it since, so my memories of it are still the child memories where I don't even know what was real and what was just my wrong child
Yes.
interpretation of it. But I just remember it being about a bug infestation. And I remember this man being at the top of basement steps and the door was locked and all these bugs are coming after him. And of course he falls down the steps and lands at the bottom and this big impregnated bug crawls into his mouth and you just know she's going to have her babies inside of his body. And that screwed me up, but also set me on this trajectory, I think.
Well, first and foremost, have you ever dressed up as Michael Myers for Halloween? Because if you're saying you have the obsession.
No, because I have been legitimately afraid of him, but my husband, I don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago. I went to one of his shows because we both are bassists. So I went to one of his shows around Halloween time and we were just hanging out in this bar and chatting. And every once in a while, it was a costume party. So there were people in costume there. There was a Michael Myers that was just staring at me from the bathroom. And I kept on looking for my husband and saying, Grant, there's someone dressed as Michael, but he's specifically staring at me and I'm not really cool with it because it's starting to really freak me out. And it kept happening. It kept happening all night. And then when my husband's band went to go on stage, because he was the headliner, Michael Myers walked past me, got on stage and put on the bass and it was him the whole time, which is why every time it happened and I went to find him to tell him about it, I couldn't find him and I just thought he was with his buddies somewhere, but he was changing in the parking lot periodically just to freak me out.
That is a great husband and that is the level of prank that I am here for. And at some point, I would love to do something like that to you, Adam.
That's one of those where in the moment you're I don't know if I'm furiously angry
or so proud of you,
if I think this is the greatest thing ever or somewhere,
listen, ladies, if you wanted to, we would. Right there is if you wanted to, we would.
See, that's the kind of effort in a relationship.
Yeah, it's attention. You know, that's so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel the jumpsuit always really intrigues me that I want to put that on, but I think it's his pallor that just really leads me to being creeped out. But I found it funny because they just had made a scary hallway at the school and our daughter's watched plenty of Michael Myers and she's never had an issue, but she's almost 13 and she's that Michael Myers, it just creeped me out in the hallway. I couldn't. And so it's I don't know. It's his silence, maybe just the blank stare, I don't know.
I think it's the that you can feel some intelligence behind it. There's a thoughtfulness.
Right.
The way that he, obviously it's been talked about a lot, but the way he just kind of cocks his head to the side and looks at his work. The original Halloween I've probably watched more than any movie ever.
Yeah, same. And I think for that reason, still to this day, my favorite horror killers are the ones that don't speak. Like,
Yeah.
something about that just is my favorite.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you said, like, you have this, kind of love-hate relationship with it, but I had sent this text to Adam the other day where I saw that there was a terminally ill little boy. I think he was, I want to say like 5 or so. And I said, I really want to talk about this on the podcast because, how you can kind of do any kind of a make a wish or whatever things that you want. Or a lot of
Mhm.
times there's like superheroes or things like that that come in. But he had requested
Jason
Jason
Voorhees. Yeah.
Voorhees to come in. And it's like, it says terminally ill horror movie obsessed 5-year-old finds comfort in Jason Voorhees cosplayer before passing away. And like some of the comments were just saying like I think Jason would understand his pain and like
Mhm.
he finds comfort. And so
Mhm.
it was interesting to me how, a lot of people that have been on the show have talked about how they found comfort in horror, and just the comments on
Yeah.
here too.
Mhm. For
Beautiful, but
sure. Like,
sad
some
and
people
sweet.
might not get that, but I totally understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what was the other one that you said that you had with
The
your
other
dad?
movie
Oh
that messed
yeah.
me up,
That they wanted,
it was called The Bay Nest, I
yeah,
And
think.
I remember, like, I don't think I ever watched the movie, but I think I, like, went by the cover a few times. If I'm not mistaken, it's like a person with, like, a bug coming out of their mouth, and, like,
Yeah.
and you pussed out on it.
I don't, I don't like a multiple. You don't either. Like multiple thing, like a huge
But
horde
I
of
do
things
like
coming at
bugs.
you. But no, because like I think
Mhm.
I watched Arachnophobia at a very formative moment in my
Yeah.
life too, and that caused all kinds of like problems
So does
for me.
that scene in like Men in Black where the cockroaches are coming all out of his pants and his mouth?
It's the CGI ness of it, like takes away some of that. Like when it's real, it really freaks me out a lot. I'm not gonna lie,
Mhm.
but that's really interesting, and I think that I saw something where you had just finished something. We were doing something. It was an Instagram post, and you said "Say cheese and die" and had your Goosebumps shirt on.
Oh,
Were
yeah.
you a Goosebumps
Yeah,
kid too?
Goosebumps was a huge thing for me, but more like I watched the TV show. I don't think I really read the books back then,
Okay,
but now I read the books, like, almost every night with my son. We've been doing that for a
How
few years.
awesome.
love it.
Yeah.
Um, should connect you with John Ward, who's writing the Scareville series for the younger kids.
Yeah, it's an
It's like
excellent
his
like
modern
new.
take on,
Mhm.
I mean, it's not a copy of
It's just a middle grade
yeah,
horror
but it's
series.
like
Yeah.
if you like that, you'll like this.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. I write middle grade too. I have a middle grade horror coming out in 2027.
Do you really? That's
What?
amazing. I love
Yeah.
that. I'm a huge middle grade horror fan.
Yeah, I never was, and now this year I've read so many, and they're fun. They're good.
They're
The plot
Mhm.
is where it's at.
well. I think
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear your approach. I think that middle grade horror, because it explores different things and can't have things that adult horror has in it, a lot of times it ends up being scarier to me.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like it's interesting. I actually started off with middle grade horror for a few years before I started going into the adult space. And it is interesting how like there's certain things that you can't do. Like you can't have like really gory things obviously on the page and stuff like that. So you have to be unique. You have to come up with unique ways to scare kids and it's a fun challenge.
Yeah, it really. I know we've talked a lot on here with different writers about like playing with the tension and building
Mhm.
things up, and but I feel like some of these like middle grade ones like really push the boundaries where I'm like genuinely like skeeved out.
I think that
Which
Mhm.
I'm like, damn, that's like intense.
well, I think also that the middle grade, the core kind of fears that they play around with, which is like authority figures kind of not coming through, like
Mm.
the loneliness, the sort of like
Mhm.
being left alone, all those kinds of things like translate so well to like being scary to an adult too. Like it just kind of goes through all the ages. Yeah. I love that. And actually we talked to, and he mentioned you, and I can't wait to talk about the story that he talked about with you. But Robert Atone,
Robert P. Atone.
Yeah.
he
I love him.
yes, he was saying that he throws in one like horrifically gory scene in his middle grade and even in YA, just to kind of be like, you get one and then the rest of it's kind of,
Yeah.
so which I love that. And we kind of said it was almost like in a PG-13 movie. It's like you can have that one F word and it's okay, but it's like I love that in middle grade where it's like it just skirts right around it, and then you like, is it going to go there? And then it doesn't, and it does,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. That tension is really cool too.
Well,
Yeah, it
I
is.
would love to hear more about your book here, what's coming out. Well, let's like put that. I usually like to hear that towards the end to get people gassed up for that if
Hmm.
you're okay with holding on
So
Yeah.
what's
to
coming next?
Yep.
yes. But let's talk about how hard we rock out to her music
Well, yes, and I saw you
and what
have
it's
a
like to be, I said that to Joey, but like God's favorite. You have so much talent. You're a bassist and you're an
Thank you.
author. Like,
you sing so well too. Like,
yeah, you're not
Thank you.
awkward on
That
a
is so new
podcast.
for me. I have never been a singer ever. Like I've been strictly a bassist and me and my husband both play bass, so we've never been in a band together. I mean, once upon a time we did like a duo bass thing, but it was kind of stressful and not something we really wanted to do long term. So we've never been in an actual band together and we recently were just like, man, like we really just want to do something together because we have similar tastes, we have similar visions artistically. So I was like, you know what? I'll just put down the bass, you do it. I'll try singing and see what happens, but don't make fun of me if I'm bad. And so far, I've just been kind of, not pushing my range. I'm just kind of sticking with what I know I can do for now and like just seeing where it goes.
well,
You're so humble. There's no way. Like, you killed it.
Fenrir is it's such a good
Thank
song,
you.
and like I even used it in a post. I don't know if you saw for the mean ones. I was like that lyric that if you treat me like a big bad wolf, then that's what I'll be.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
that lyric is so good. And then like
Thank you.
yeah, and I can't wait. You got a music video and new song coming next week or this week.
Yeah. This Thursday, yeah, October 16th.
Holy shit.
Yes, awesome. Can't wait for that.
What do you do to stay inspired, Abby, since you're such a creative? Like, what are you feeding yourself? What are you sleeping? What are you watching? What's your process?
I don't know. That's such a good question. I think I just take inspiration from everyday life. I mean, I have 3 kids and they're really creative, and I feel like a lot of times my spark of inspiration comes from something that they say. Like, honestly, this book, Writhe, came from something that my son said when he was 7 years old, and I know that sounds bad given what the book is
I
about,
was about to say that.
but no, he didn't say anything bad. The thing he said had very little to do with what it became, but the point is that it just set my wheels spinning, and yeah, it just a lot of my inspiration come from them and just watching their childlike minds at work, but
That's
yeah, just like
amazing.
many things in life.
Yeah, very cool. And I have to say, like, kind of you hinted at it here, but my first question after reading this is one, are you okay? Because I'm not after reading this book.
This was a challenging one to write. I mean, this was the first thing that I did adult-wise coming from writing only middle grade. And I think that's probably why it is from a child perspective, because that's what I was used to doing. But it got really ugly really fast. And so I knew it wasn't going to be a middle grade book. And I usually kind of rate on the faster side. Like I tend to finish my books within a couple months, but this one took me years. And it's not because it was difficult to write the story, but it's because of how ugly it made me feel
Yeah.
sometimes, like
Oh,
And did I
yeah,
read
I
somewhere
just
that it
would
was
put
a
it
lot
down.
longer at one point?
It was not a lot longer,
Oh,
but
okay.
it was a bigger world, like, it was multi-POV, and Banner's story was only one part of it. It the crying boy painting that's
Yes.
in the book, like, the crying boy had his own separate story in it,
That-
and I ended up taking that out because my publishers were like, "Look, we really like this, but the way that it is right now is kind of confusing with this whole world that you've built." And what we really liked about it was Banner's story. And I agreed with them kind of subconsciously. I think that I just needed permission to give Banner the spotlight. And I think the reason why I didn't make the whole thing about him was because of how ugly he felt. But
Yeah,
when they were like, no, this is what we want, this is what's intriguing, it was like the permission that I needed to focus on him.
that's really interesting.
Hmm.
You kind of touched on it very little when we just talked about sort of your beginnings of horror. Now, it sounds like you did not have the sort of difficult, at least in the way that this book has, relationship with your parents. um,
No, not
so,
not like Banner.
like, I think obviously that's the central sort of dynamic between Banner and his mom. I love this idea of, and it, no one's really a bad guy or a good guy in this book. Everything's flawed, everything's kind of messed up, and that's like where it's so interesting. But I think that, especially in this country and kind of the way it is, mothers are sort of told they have to feel a certain way about their children. They have to feel a certain way about motherhood. And I think that you
Mhm.
really kind of mess with that and really show a
Mhm.
person that's like she's both doing her best and really flawed, ultimately. And
Mhm.
like where did that sort of idea of that character come from?
I think it's just I think like most horror writers, we really like to write what scares us or what makes us uncomfortable or just what makes us think. And something for me as a mother that kind of makes me uncomfortable is that thought of a mother who does not have the natural instinct to love their kids. And I guess I just wanted to explore it. I wanted to purposely have most people in this book. I think there's one person in the book that is a good guy, like, no
Yeah.
doubt. Everybody else I wanted to just be totally gray or sometimes, like, absolutely bad. Like, I just wanted you to not ever really know how you felt.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that, there's moments where, the mother seems like she wants to do better and she wants to do well for Banner. And then there's other times where she's just like, I can't even take care of myself. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was talking
Mhm.
to a friend about parenting in general, and she was like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing my best. And then it's like, I think that's kind of where we all are. And what happens
Yeah.
when what that is messed up from the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely moments where you can feel for her and you can feel for Banner, and then, like, a page later, you're disgusted by them, and
Yep.
yeah.
I think there's a party in this book where,
Mhm.
nothing supernatural happens. There's no ghost, there's no monster. And it's one of the scariest, like tension filled scenes like I've read in a long time, just because you don't know what any of the people at this party are capable of. And there's this kid in the middle of it and trying to
Mhm.
navigate like his own safety by himself. Where did like the
Yeah.
idea for that come from? And like you pull it off so well.
Thank you. So that party scene was not in the original version of this book, and when I went back to flesh out Banner's story a little bit more, once I decided to make the whole thing about him, I added that. I guess it's because in the beginning of the book, he does say that he likes to pick the pockets of the
Mhm.
passed out party guests at his house. So I was like, okay, well, I obviously need that party scene. Then I can't just say that and then never give it to the reader. I feel like I set that up. I need to follow through. And then when I started writing it, it just came out the way that it did, where Banner starts comparing every party guest to an animal that they
Yeah,
act like.
right.
And he kind of sees it like a zoo in his
Mhm.
house. So,
Yep. And I think, like, it's funny because one of the very first descriptions of the mother in the book before even that party is that she's like a giraffe that doesn't know how to use her legs, right? Like, trying to come out of the
yeah,
mouth.
that's the first line of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, about, like, the height of her heels and how she can't walk well in them.
Yeah, so it's like it's this interesting juxtaposition of, like, Banner seeing all these things so far ahead of when he should be, but, like, only really having a vocabulary of a little kid to really describe what it is that he's seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah, that was a
yeah,
little
that
bit of a challenge to talk about, like, these adult things through the lens of an 8-year-old.
yeah.
Well, a complete aside, but did you guys see that the first baby giraffe without spots was born this week?
Like, in
I did
history?
not.
As far as I know. The first spotless giraffe, so it's like tall and just like tan as a baby.
Huh,
Yeah,
I feel like there's some sort of
That's
metaphor
interesting.
here.
I don't know. I mean, I love that. I mean, I just remember talking with our older daughter about actually labeling people as types of animals
Yeah,
in like middle
Yeah.
school and high school, and how she was like, I don't understand. Like, why doesn't this fit in or why doesn't that? And I was like, because you're like an elephant. You're majestic and
Mhm.
amazing and this and, all, and it's like, and then you're dealing with these other people that, just when you think about from like the gestational component of how fast certain animals have babies versus how long it takes an elephant to gestate. And like,
yeah,
the just the community and the pain and the different like they remember, they feel everything. They're much more intelligent. You can't compare yourself, and it's like so I really found like those metaphors of being an animal.
yeah, and
Mhm.
clearly there's a power to it, and
There it
sort of
is.
because we do have such, like, obviously the one character is a wolf, right? And it's like we have such,
Mhm.
you know symbolism and connotations to that. Yeah, but it's really interesting the way that he brings in the women and how he feels and sees them too. It's a really cool way to kind of get into Banner's mind and see that he's, labeling these people almost as safe or unsafe or, all that kind of stuff, like while trying to, interestingly decide which ones he thinks are most ripe for him to steal from us.
Yeah, yeah. I think something else that really made me write it that way is, like, I don't know if maybe you can relate to this, but sometimes if I'm in a bar and I'm just, like, people watching, I genuinely will start to, like, think of people as, like, I'm watching guys, like, try to pick up women, and I
Mhm.
start thinking of, like, animals, like peacocks spreading their, like,
They
colorful
are.
feathers, and, like, I genuinely am like, "Oh, wow," like, this species of human, like, this is what we do to try and,
Yeah.
like, mate. Like, I don't know, I just sometimes I just think about it like that because it's interesting to
It
me.
becomes very, like, nature documentary as you watch it, like,
Yes,
I love that.
Do
exactly.
you ever think about, like, privately narrating a voice memo into your phone?
Yeah,
And
it's like
You
now
video,
know,
yeah.
now
maybe
the
I should.
and now the dumbass spills his drink. Um, no, I think there's a lot to this, and again, I'm gonna bring it back to middle school education here. So we're talking there's this humanities class that they have right now, and they're teaching about the concept of the alpha lobster, and I didn't know anything about alpha lobsters, even lobsters in general before this, before Annabelle told me. But there's, as you're talking about these people essentially peacocking for attention and whatever,
Mhm.
the alpha lobster is its claws are bigger and he's got more serotonin in his system. Like he's built with different chemicals than the beta lobsters. But like when a beta lobster goes to challenge, if he wins, he actually takes all of the serotonin from
Okay.
the alpha lobster, and the alpha lobster's physically changes. Like his claws shrink, he goes back down, and like it all goes, like all of that goes into the beta, now becomes physically transparent, like, or not transparent, but
Wow.
transforms into the way that the alpha just looked. So I think there's a lot
Hmm.
to be learned from lessons from that. And so now we have a saying around our exchange. And it was like, no one's ever called me the fucking alpha lobster
Yeah,
before. Do you want me to put that on a shirt for you? You
exactly.
can't wear it out anywhere because it has a swear word on it. But
And I may have forced a student of mine to write that Mr. Allen is the alpha lobster just to, send to my
yeah.
daughter to say, "Look, they know it, like, it's
See,
me."
yeah, but I mean, aren't we all in some way trying to compete to be the alpha lobster
I
in
don't
certain
know.
parts,
I'm a
and so I think
Yeah,
that it's just a
pretty
great
much.
description. There's so much to be learned from nature.
Yeah, very cool.
Mhm.
So, if you had
Yeah.
to pick an animal for yourself, what would you be?
That's such a good question.
If you
Uh,
want to think about it, I can tell you mine because I already knew my answer.
okay, go ahead.
I want to be a coyote
Oh,
because
oh,
because I
yes.
recently learned about how
Love a
coyote.
trash animal.
I do love a trash animal very
Yes.
much, but the coyote, what I learned is like they don't give a fuck. Like they'll hunt in packs. They won't. They'll go solo. They'll pair with like an unexpected person, like
Was it a
because
groundhog or a
a,
hedgehog?
a
What was the
dog, anything, like
No, what was
anything
the
that.
one that it
Yes.
was a groundhog, right? Oh,
Uh,
no, a mole.
no, it was bigger than that. But he was like basically they realized that even though they could eat that animal in the moment, they'll get more kills long term for it was like a skunk or a.
I thought it was something that dug
It
underground.
is.
Oh, okay.
It was like a honey badger sort
Oh,
of
okay.
thing. But they'll team up together, but they don't care. They'll eat trash, they'll eat bugs, they'll eat um they're and really what it attracted to me about it is they actually Mark Twain like had written about how terrible they were and how kill them, and the more that they killed, the more like the population doubled, tripled, because
Mhm.
they actually have this like enzymatic thing
Mhm.
that when their population goes low, it makes them to breed to have bigger pups
Whereas
and
the
litters.
wolves were actually wiped out.
Yes, because
Yeah,
they only would come together in packs every so seldom. So it was like just I guess at any given time there's like 3,000 coyotes in a city and they're so good at hiding that you don't see, and but because they can eat anything, the key here is they're so adaptive
and survivors, right?
and
Mhm.
survivors, and I was like, that just sounds like the coolest fucking animal.
Yeah,
So try to beat that,
Yeah.
follow that. Adam, you're up. She's still thinking.
it's
Adam,
a great question.
you want to go for like a platypus where you like milk from your
I
nipples?
mean, I'm just always an orangutan, right?
Yeah,
That's just where it goes. The philosophers of the jungle.
there you go. That
They
does
just
suit you.
yeah, I move slowly
You're
and
Yes.
hairy, you
I
monkey
I
around.
like to eat, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, and you're pretty adorable. Okay, okay, Abby, you're up.
All right. I am going to go with hippo
Yeah.
because they're one of my favorite animals because like
They're so
I
violent.
feel like they're just so underestimated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're violent, but I think like people don't always know that about them. I used to when I was in 7th grade, I used to try to write my own animal encyclopedias, and I would sit in front of Animal Planet, and I would watch this one show that was, called Animal Face Off, and it
Yes.
was like you remember that show?
Yes.
Yes.
You take 2 animals, and, like, these scientists would get all these facts, like the strength of their
Oh
jaw
my
and their speed and
god.
da da da, and see who would win in a fight, and I just remember the hippo dominating, like, everyone.
Yes.
I actually don't quote me on this, but I feel like the hippo might have been the only one that beat the lion, and right then and there, I was like, "Hippo all the way."
Yeah.
Awesome.
Especially if they can get you in the water, like, you're done.
Well, what they
Yeah,
said is,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
they don't actually or they're not actually able to, like, run on the floor where you see them chasing. They're actually that, like, running and buoyant that they're bouncing off the top to keep like,
Yeah.
to chase the boat.
Insane.
You ever see that TikTok or
Mhm.
whatever? It's like, "Run, doom, doo, doo," and it, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
scares the shit out of you. Yeah.
What was
yeah.
it? Congo. I was a huge Michael Crichton fan,
Crichton.
and Congo has that like scene where it's like this terrifying river attack, and you're like, "What is it?" And it's like hippos. It's like, and I guess they take down so many boats, on the
Yeah.
rivers and stuff, in Africa and things. And
Mhm.
they're just like, people are terrified of them,
I
and they
like
should be.
I like to watch
Yeah.
them crush pumpkins with their teeth.
Yes.
I love to
Exactly,
watch where
it's
they
fun,
have
but if you look at one, if you
Yeah.
just look at its face, you're like, "Wow, what a dumb looking thing," but
Yeah.
Yeah.
you, like, don't underestimate it
No.
'cause
Yeah.
it
What's
looks
that
silly,
baby
it
that
looks
everyone's
like
obsessed with?
Oh, yeah, she's so, Pat what is her name? Mudung?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Something like that.
yeah, yeah.
She's adorable.
But I love that.
She's the pygmy
Yes.
hippo.
No, I mean,
Mudang.
yes, but definitely, Abby, like, you look at it and you underestimate it, and then you're dead.
So that
Yep.
okay, so you wanna be underestimated. I love that.
Or
Like
don't underestimate, you know what I mean?
well,
It's like,
really,
yeah.
that's what it's the sleeper effect, though.
Mhm,
Yeah, you're
absolutely.
totally allowed to underestimate me, and then bam,
I
I'm gonna
love
Yep.
it.
strike.
Take you out like a
I
watermelon.
also enjoy, like this is gross, but, like, how fast their tail goes when they're pooping. It's
Yes.
disgusting,
You
but
know?
fascinating.
It'll get you on one side or the other.
Exactly. That's
And
a cool superpower.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
some great songs that have come out of,
You want a hippopotamus?
no, not that one.
Oh,
The
okay.
one where he's like,
That's
Moto
the first one that came to
Moto
my head.
Moto, where he's like,
Yeah, okay.
I like some chunky
Yes, Madagascar too.
Madagascar,
Yeah.
Gloria. So yeah, I'm a fan. I feel like we're vibing on this. I could honestly like. I know a lot of these people do like the Discord where you can watch movies and whatever.
Mhm.
Like, but I would love to watch the nature documentary
The
with
animal
you.
face-off, we can find
We could
that.
do that.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to because I haven't seen it since then.
Me
Like,
either.
since I was in 7th grade. I used to watch it all the time, but I never hear anybody talk about it. I've never seen it pop up on
But
the
yeah, because it
internet
would
or
come up
anything.
with the, like, I used to
This
collect
predator.
well, no, I used to collect the, like, comic book cards, and on the back of it would have their, like, power levels and all that kinda
The
stuff, and it would do
stats,
that
yeah.
with the animals. It would be like,
Yeah.
Venom is 3 stars, and this is 5 star, and it would, like, do that,
Exactly.
and I
Didn't we get that?
loved that.
Didn't we get that book that one year?
I used
That
to
TikTok guy who did that, where he would talk about all those crazy.
The ones that, yeah, would kill you and stuff like that,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Abby.
no, I used to take notes during that show. Like, I'd sit there with a notebook because I was a nerd like that with animals. Like, I used to take the same animal encyclopedia out from the school library for so long that, like, I got in trouble. Like, "You need to give it back." And I'm like, "No, nobody's gonna care about it like I do."
Yeah.
So would you say that's like was your first hyperfixation?
Michael Myers.
I don't know if it was the first probably my first hyperfixation was killer whales because I was obsessed with Free Willy before anything.
Yes.
Wow. You know,
Killer whale's another terrifying,
I
underappreciated
almost picked
animal.
that as my animal,
Yeah.
but I went with hippo, but yeah, killer whale would be, like, my number 2.
They are so terrifying, and, like, the fact that they're just kinda mean, you know?
I like how they just
Yeah.
like will be like for
Slap
fun.
seals up in the air.
That, but for fun, they just take down these pods of boats.
Oh, yeah.
I know, what does it say about me, though, that I keep picking, like, really mean animals?
I like it. I like it
Well,
that there's like an
it's those
undercurrent
yeah.
of. I mean, listen, don't we
Most of
disrupt?
those boats are fishing and
Yeah, and I was
killing,
saying,
like,
don't we like
yeah, no.
disrupt their with all the sound
Mhm.
waves, like and shit, like
Yeah.
They're just tired of our shit,
I
which
think
I
it I
get
think
it.
it resembles female rage where it's like you can do
Mhm.
your own thing, but there's a part in nature of why they're gonna have that I wonder if they have unusually longer medulla oblongatas like
Is this a Waterboy reference?
yes, it is a water boy reference where like Why is he so angry? He doesn't have
Yeah,
enough teeth.
yeah,
Mama
all the
says he has
yes,
no teeth. So much
alligators.
teeth and no toothbrush or whatever. It's
Yes,
like, yeah, but really, if it is the unusually longer medulla
yeah.
oblongata and these animals, but
I
I
think
do think it's female rage.
well, I think it's also
Mhm. Yeah, probably.
intelligence. I think the more intelligent things are, the meaner they get sometimes, which is messed up, but
Look, that explains
I
mean.
guess
that
that's
explains
true.
humans.
Well, it does, but it also explains like when you get really hot, people get mean,
Yeah, that is true.
more violence and all that. So
So,
Mhm.
transition, I think that's amazing that you were making your own animal encyclopedia and proof that you're awesome. Like, that
please
is the
go back,
coolest
start
thing.
again.
I
Like
would love to
you could
see that.
Listen, I never got far and I had to restart like twice. And when I say making my own, it was literally just me copying facts from like that show and the animal encyclopedia that I had. I wasn't out there doing my own research
See
by any
that
that
could be
means.
something
So,
cool to do with your kids though, and
yeah.
like put the book together, put it out
Mhm.
together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
mhm.
If they're into that. I don't know if that's like they're interested in animals.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
Well,
Hopefully.
my youngest is obsessed with like cats right now.
Yes.
Bring them over.
Yeah, do you
I
need
told
any?
you we have a kitty recording studio.
We can give you a
Leave
few
my
if you need
cats
some.
alone.
I love our cats, I'm just
I know
saying,
you
I
do.
wanna spread the wealth of the meow.
We have adopted
So
and fostered enough. We're keeping who we have.
but I want to transition, you kinda mentioned it before, but the crying child picture, as soon as I
Mhm.
finished your book, I was Googling and researching this, and it is fascinating. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why you decided to put it in this book?
Yes, as soon as I learned of the story of the crying boy painting, that was something that I was like, okay, now I have to put this in a story because I love it so much. Because it is like a true thing that happened in England in the 80s. The artist's name is Giovanni Bragolin, and he painted all of these like they were boys and girls, but he does have more boys, I think. They're all crying. Like, it's pretty depressing, but it's like his crying child series. But, in the '80s in England, it started with one house, and then there was, like, many others afterward in a kinda short period of time where these houses burned down, and they all had a crying boy painting in them, and every time the crying boy painting was untouched and didn't
Yeah.
burn. And I have seen that the reason for the paintings not burning, which does make sense, was the varnish that the artist used was just very flame resistant, but that still doesn't explain why houses that had that painting were the houses that burned, unless just that many people owned those paintings at the time, so it's freaky.
Freaky to the max. I love.
It's such a cool story, and, like,
Mhm,
definitely the way that you use it in Writhe is so effective to the point where I was like, "What is this?" It's so it works so well with what is happening in your story, and then also it's just this, like I think, like, one of the things as I was reading your book was it always just feels like it's heading and, no spoilers, but there's a tragic inevitability to everything that's happening, right? It's like you're reading this
mhm,
and you're like, I really hope for the best, but it just has a feeling that there is like this bleakness, to the situation,
mhm,
like the human situation, what's
yeah,
going on, that it's like, you feel like you're reading a tragedy and, watching it unfold. And like, it's interesting that some that could seem very, like, dark and disturb or and it is, but, like, you also
mhm.
just are so interested in these people, and these characters are so well written that you're like, "I still have to see what happens to them." So, like, as you we kinda talk a lot about, like, plotters or pantsers. Did you know where this was going to end when you started it? Or was it kinda like, as you got there, you're like, "I can see this is really the only way it can end."
I knew how it was going to end in a way, but I did not know how I was going to tie the crying boy painting into it. That was something that I kind of shoved into this story and hoped that I can make work. And I think I did.
Yeah.
According to what you're saying, I think I did.
Like, yes. And, it's interesting because like, I don't know how exactly to describe it, but it takes on and for a reason, with events that are happening in the story, but it takes on a very surreal, nature to the last, I don't know, quarter maybe of the book. And, what happens with that painting definitely lends to that as well as what's happening to Banner. And it's just the way it ties together. Like the very last words of the book, I'm just like, holy shit. And I'm sure hopefully that's what you were expecting or hoping. It definitely worked.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And you kind of talked about how there is that one character that is just seems truly decent. And I wanted to know,
Mhm.
like, I had some ideas, but like, what made you put that character in, introduce them when you did, and what do you see the purpose of that kind of serving in the overall story?
Okay, I have to be careful talking about this one because
Yes.
I really want to avoid spoilers,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna, like, tiptoe. But I needed to make Banner make a difficult choice.
Okay.
I didn't want him to just be like, "Okay, I know what I'm doing," and full speed ahead. I
Yeah.
needed him to be like, "Hold on a second, all of a sudden I have this other opportunity."
There is
And he
hope in this
basically
world
had to
almost.
choose. He had to choose between good and evil, but the thing is that he totally misunderstands his opportunity because he starts to think so poorly of himself.
Yeah.
And so he really kind of like he makes the choice more difficult than it has to be for himself. And I needed Sam, the name of that character.
Hmm.
I needed Sam to kind of be a light in a dark world, and I needed him to be a choice for Banner.
Yeah. And he's kind of the flip side of that character towards the beginning of the book where,
Mhm.
and Banner does almost the same thing, but I think in that situation there was nothing he could do to make it any better because that guy was such a kind of a
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. And he is used to, like, the guys that his mom brings around are pieces of shit. So
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, like, he does not expect in this moment for his mom to bring around someone who is a good guy.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't really know what to do with it.
And I'm sure his mom's probably just as shocked by the situation too.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of all put in a weird situation.
Yeah. No, that's really it really, it almost is like the exception that proves the rule in a way that it's like Banner's world is so dark that to have light for a moment almost shows how dark everything always was. So
Yeah,
it
and
was
it's like a
yeah.
shock to their system.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. What other thing I wanted to go into is that, this is a period piece. It takes place
Mhm.
96, 95, somewhere around that?
90
95,
yeah,
right.
95.
Because I
Best
was
year
thinking of the
ever.
movie, I was like, okay, I remember he gets Jumanji from the video store.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Um,
the best year ever.
but, like, I love because there's like, right now in so much literature and movies and all this kind of stuff, it's like the '90s were this, like almost like how people looked at the '50s. In the '80s and '90s, people are looking at the '90s now, and, like, yes, there are some great movies and all this kind of stuff, but was it, like, this beautiful, perfect world? It's like, absolutely not. So I love that this is almost, like, anti-nostalgic, in that it takes place in that
Mhm.
time period, but, like, it's also, like, it was not this, like, utopia.
It was for music and
Right.
movies is I guess what I was saying where I felt like the
No,
best
no, that's
year.
what I'm saying, yeah, that I don't wanna
But
take away that there was great music, but I
right.
love the way that you used it being a time like, in this time period, but not like, "Oh, everything's great and perfect."
Right, right. And I brought in the nostalgia by making there be the video store that Banner loves and talking about some fun movies from back then, but yeah,
But at the same time, that video store is a source of pain for him almost.
it is, it is. It's fun for the reader, I think, to
Mhm,
be like, "Oh, I remember video stores," but yeah, it is a source of pain for him because he loves the movies. That's like some one of the only things he has at home is, like, watching TV and movies, but he's blacklisted from the video store because his
mhm.
mom doesn't return anything, and because of other things.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and I think that that's just really it's really cool because I remember going into video stores and having pictures of people on the wall that it's like, "Don't rent to these people." You know what I mean? It's like or it would
Mhm,
have their
yeah,
driver's license and stuff like that, and it's just like, I thought that that was really, a really cool touch, that as someone that frequented a lot of video stores that I was like, "Yep, I remember things like that for sure."
yeah.
Uh, I think the idea also that the mother is a waitress at this diner, and it's kinda like that's the shitty diner, and the diner down the street's the good
Mhm.
diner. I love that, sort of idea too that she's a, a tip-based worker,
Sorry, did you say tit?
tip
Sorry.
tip-based worker, that helps her in other ways to but,
Mhm.
like, that whole
Yeah.
idea of, like, this sort of, like, living not just paycheck to paycheck, but almost, like, day to day depending on what happens, whether you can eat or not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. I am a waitress at a small diner, so I gave that to her because I otherwise I always like to give at least one tiny piece of myself to each
Mm.
main character that I have, even if I can't relate to them with anything else. Because if I give them one little thing that I can relate to, it's like a jumping off point for me to like get to know the differences between us and like I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah,
No, yeah.
I said, "Hey, I'm gonna give her that she is a waitress at a diner," and Banner's thing that I gave him that I can relate to is, like, he kinda has difficulty with words sometimes, like, speaking, like, he says usually heavy words way down my tongue, and I let them get stuck in my throat like
Mm.
alphabet soup in a funnel, and I feel that way sometimes, like,
Mm.
I've had difficulty with talking about heavy topics, so yeah, it's just a little thing I gave to him and a little thing I gave to her just so that I can feel like I have a jumping off point where I can relate to them.
I love that, and, it's also a job that's, like your job is to basically, like, navigate people's emotions and needs, and, like, the fact that she's on doing that all day, and then it's like she gets home and it's like, "I can't do it anymore," with
Mhm.
the child, like,
Yeah.
I think that anyone that has done a service, job like that can relate that it's like, it takes so much out of you to do that job. You're
It does
exhausted.
because you really are like I don't wanna say being fake, but you kind of
Uh,
are being fake all day. I mean, if you're in a bad mood, you can't really show it because if people think you're miserable, then yeah, they're not gonna tip you as well. So you kinda have to like put on your not happy face because that's the thing I hate. People tell me to smile like every day and I refuse to wear a fake one. I just have RBF and there's nothing I can do about it. But you know what I mean? Like you have to just be nice to people and
and you have
like
to, like,
even when
at least
you
pretend like you
even
care, right?
yeah, exactly. You have to like even if you're not having a good day, like you just have to be like, "All right, well, I'm here now. I'm with the public and not everybody needs to know I'm having a bad day and let's just give everybody a good lunch and go home."
Yeah.
But it is kind of tiring.
Yeah, definitely. Kinda with that goes Banner's experiences, especially at school, and it kind of goes with this whole sort of, like, thing to me is this idea that whether it's the video store, whether it's the diner patrons, whether it's the teachers, it's like everyone's kind of ignoring and turning a blind eye to something that if they were just paying attention, they maybe could have either stopped or made better, but
Mhm.
it's just kind of, like, glossed over. It's like, oh, like and I think of things now where it's kind of like Banner has this bully, and it's like, "Oh, both of you stop." It's like, "No, not both of you stop. Pay attention to what's happening." Like, this is one side, to that, and, like,
Yeah.
is that kind of like that idea and especially sort of Banner's experiences, with the just sort of casual cruelty of what's going on around him, is that
Mhm.
inspired by anything? Is that just kind of like something maybe that you've seen or experienced?
I guess it's just from observation. It's from like just having kids in school and knowing like it's frustrating when you can clearly see like someone needs extra attention
Mhm.
and they're not getting it, you know? And with Banner, it's like, even if, like, I think his situation is a little unique in the sense that maybe some adults in his life would recognize that he needs the attention and he needs like some care but, like, his mom, like, personally has done something like, the woman who works at the video store, she
Mhm.
has something personal against his mother.
Yeah.
So, should she maybe cut him a break and, like, let the kid have a movie? Yeah, but he has to deal with his mother's, like, reputation as well.
Mm.
Like, the woman at the video store is like, "No, you're not getting this because of what your mother has done." So it's like a double whammy for him because he's just not liked at school, but then also the adults in his life that might cut him a break don't because of who his mom is. So
Yeah, yeah, and it just adds to that overall sort of, like, cycle and funnel of hopelessness that he just,
mhm.
the idea that he's like, "I have this plan. It's very early on that, you kind of see that he has these darts that he's found that he is, throwing at the kids that he doesn't like and stuff. And it's just kind of like
Mhm.
watching this inevitable spiral play. And I think that,
Mhm.
it's definitely something that symbolically and metaphorically and looking around at different things. Hopefully, it's a book that people read and kind of like pay attention to some of the people that they think maybe like it is, like you said, it's like, well, this woman didn't return these movies. It's like, yeah, like, are you personally like responsible? Like, why are you taking it so personally that this happens? I'm sure, like, not that you ever want
Mhm.
it to, but I'm sure that the store knows that some videos aren't going to be returned. It's like, can I
Yeah.
show a little bit of kindness and a little bit of like grace, in my
Mhm.
everyday and how much, like, you don't realize how much that can really change, a person's life in a way?
Yeah, for sure. You never know what's going on in somebody's home. I am curious to both of you, like
Mhm.
how early in the book did you know exactly what Banner's plan was? Like, did you know pretty early exactly what he wanted to do, or did it take a little bit?
I think see, I kinda went back and forth, and I think Rebecca, we talked about it, it was similar. I really thought of Pearl Jam's Jeremy,
God. Yeah.
and, like, was that what he was gonna do? That he was gonna show them, like, do something to himself, some kind of self-harm that was kind of be
Mhm.
like, "Look at me, like, you have to look at me now," or was it going to
Okay,
be,
yeah.
the so I kinda went back and forth for that. I think that the fact that he had, like, brought in so much rage, that he was bottling up so much rage that ultimately I was like, I think that he is, planning to harm the other students, especially the one in particular, and, even the
Mhm.
teacher and stuff like that, because, you know, ultimately they caused a lot of the distress in his life. And while that's obviously never the answer,
No.
you can understand a person that doesn't quite know right and wrong and doesn't have a good model for what that is, that's where their mind would
Mhm.
go,
Mhm.
right?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's a very real scenario. How soon did you want us to try to feel that way in the book?
I don't have an answer to that. I was just
Yeah.
curious how
Yeah.
early you did because sometimes when I'm like, "Okay, I have to talk about this book," I'm like, do I talk about the specifics of the plan or is that a spoiler? Because if people
Right.
know, if it's clear up front, then I could talk about it. But if it takes a little while, then maybe I shouldn't talk about the specifics, you know?
Yeah. I think I would say that it's clear that he plans on, yeah, I I think it's pretty early on that he plans to go in there and harm, but then obviously when you bring in the weapons involved, then it becomes much clearer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think that's
Yeah, that
like
was
from a
tough.
parent's perspective to like know that you were, you know, responsible raising?
I mean, I think that
Like I feel like, just I don't know. I know
well, I
It
think
must
like
cause
yeah.
a lot of self-reflection,
yeah,
Yeah, you
but
would
yeah.
you would hope at least, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
because
don't know if
well,
this mother it would do that
Exactly.
though.
I don't
Yeah.
know if Banner's mom did a lot of self-reflecting
Yeah.
or if
And I
she was
think
just
I
kind
that
almost
of
wonder if
like,
there's like
I
a fair amount of neglect involved and like I don't want to
I
Mhm.
think every I mean, I haven't done I
I
don't
don't want to assume that the
research.
parents are always, are like, well,
Yeah.
because people be like, where are the parents? And it's like, okay, but when you're
Yeah,
dealing
that's the
with like,
thing. Maybe not in every case.
yeah, a
Mhm.
middle school kid like you can't, like, I'm thinking about the situation that happened in our town where I guess there was like two middle school boys were fighting, like verbally.
Oh,
The, the one got really embarrassed, I guess, and just keeping it loose here and went back into the house, got a gun out and came up and shot him just for like,
embarrassing him, yeah.
yeah, like, when you normally just kinda, like, rag on each other,
Wow.
and he
Yeah.
died, and so he's now, like, it was this big thing. Do you prosecute him as a juvenile or an
And then also,
adult,
do
and
you
Mhm.
how much did he
prosecute the
know? Did the
parents
parent yeah,
because the weapon was obviously not
because
secured,
he's told I think he told him, he's
Right.
like, "I'm gonna shoot you."
I'm
Uh,
gonna go get it and yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and, but yeah, I mean, it
Did the
comes
kid
back
not
to
think
these
he was, like, serious? The kid probably didn't know
No,
that he
no, and
meant
and
it,
so there's
right?
all these signs around town here of, like, justice for the
this
child
person, yeah.
that got hurt
Yeah.
or died, I shouldn't even say hurt,
Well,
but
because it is such a hard thing of, like, when everyone
when does
involved
knowing
is
better?
well, when everyone involved is so young, it makes it just so
yeah, because then you
It's
bring in,
hard.
like,
tricky.
when does that prefrontal cortex and how
Mm.
much do they know? And,
Yeah.
like, is the gun, is it locked up? And, all of that. Like, it's a lot of, and I just recently went into learning about all these, like, you know, edge lords and
Oh,
all these different things that people just
groypers and stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
that.
that just have so much, like, nihilism, which
Mhm.
meaning just like a hopelessness for life, like it'll
Mhm.
never get better, it'll never and just this isolationism and no community. So you can see how it's just kind of it's there. Like, I think it's like one of those things where it's like, doesn't have to fester and turn into that, but you certainly can see that it can.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that the other thing that in this book specifically, and I can imagine it was very hard to write, as a parent, was that kind of like final conversation between Banner and his mother where she says some things that are just like, oh my God, it's painful. And the fact is, like,
Yeah.
it's true, and that's how she feels. And like it's the
Mhm.
most honest conversation they've had through the entire book, but like, man, it
Yeah,
is
and that's
painful.
what Banner wants from his mom.
Yeah.
He kinda knows, like, she doesn't like me.
Mhm.
He feels these things, like, she doesn't want me. He feels that. And when they have that final conversation, it's like he gets the honesty that he's always wanted from her. So
Mm.
even though it's such a difficult
Painful,
conversation,
right?
it's almost like he gets what he's wanted all along. So there
Yeah.
is something beautiful in it. It's
Right.
weird
Validating.
to say, but there is.
No, yeah.
What was that like to write? Just wondering.
That's such a good question. It was just dark, and
Yeah.
I let myself go to dark places during this entire book, and that
Yeah.
was kinda why I wrote it. It's something that I did, like I said, coming off of middle grade, so
Mhm.
it was I do a lot of, like, whimsically spooky middle grade, and I love, love, love it, but then I was like, "Okay, it's time. I think I just wanna let myself go dark here, and I just kinda wanna explore this darkness because I think I just wanted to. I just wanted
Yeah.
to. I
Yeah.
think that's a simple answer,
Well, I
When
and,
think that's the
yeah, like, it kind of felt yucky, but at
yeah.
times I was just like I had to step away from it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel that's kind
I
of the
needed to do
point
it.
of horror, is just being allowed to play around with it and
yeah,
explore. I think that's
look
the
into that
Mhm.
perfect word.
ugliness. Yeah.
But did you have to do anything like go take a shower
That's what I was
afterwards? Like, because I'm
wondering.
always like water
Yeah.
helps or,
Was it like when you
Yeah.
close the computer, whatever, does it stay there, or did it follow you?
It is a very weird juxtaposition to be writing something so ugly and then have, like, your five-year-old run up to you and be like, "Mommy, fruit
Yeah.
snacks," and you're like, "Ooh." Yeah, and it's like a you shut the computer and then, like, for a little while, it might linger, but then it goes away kinda fast because I am just so engulfed in, like, my
Life.
own, thankfully better world
Yeah.
than that one. So, yeah, it doesn't really affect me long term by any means, but when I'm writing it, I'm in the world, like, fully because you have to be.
Mhm.
I will say that the times that I paused writing this story for months at a time was like something would hit the news, and then I would feel like I don't wanna be in Banner's head anymore right now.
Gotcha.
uh
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that feeling of just thinking like, he gets this catharsis, but it's like the worst thing you want to hear. Like, but I guess he's probably always known it, right?
Yeah, it's been
I
clear,
guess that's
yeah.
just like, 'cause I feel like you and I've been in like not a similar situation like that, but a situation where it's like we thought something, we asked and confronted the person, and then they were like, "Yeah, okay," and they admitted it, and it was just like kind of devastating, but also like, okay,
We don't have
I'm
to
not
go through the
crazy.
charade
Yeah,
and
yeah. Um,
Mhm.
so
yeah. Well, okay, so October 28th, so excited for this book to come out and people to read it. You've got music coming out too. What
and
other
I'm
projects?
Mhm.
waiting to hear about the new project.
Yes,
Yes.
what now's the time. I want to hear about everything.
Get that car out of the parking lot.
Okay, you wanna hear about the middle grade book?
Sure.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so that's coming out with Slay House,
Okay.
June 2027. That is a horror novel, and it's about a 13 well, she's 12, she's gonna be 13, which is bad news for her because she has PTSD because her mom died in a car crash and she dealt with it by she blames herself because she just feels like she has to, and the only thing she can think of that she must have done was step on a crack because step on a crack and break your mother's back. So she becomes very superstitious as a way of dealing with it. So she's dreading turning 13 and this, that, and the other thing. It affects her friendships because really, like, any time she sees something that is like a superstition that she keeps, she has something called a good manner Bible because she thinks of superstitions as simply good manners, like abiding by them is just good manners for her. So she writes them all down in a good manner Bible and she sticks to them, but it's really affecting her friendships. And then a black cat delivers an envelope to her room and it has a white rabbit etched on the front. And white rabbits are her lucky symbol. So she's kind of conflicted. And it's an invitation to a manor that is meant to break you free of your habits, and her friend kind of encourages her to go.
That
But it's like creepy
sounds
things happen
awesome.
there.
I love it. Cannot wait for that. Fantastic. Do you have anything else going on? That's gonna be great. I can't wait.
I have a super secret project that
Yeah.
I'm a part of in 2026, so I can't really say anything about that, but I am doing something in 2026.
Love it. Awesome.
We're,
Well,
we're here for it. We'll keep your secret. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
well, we are so excited, and I just wanted to end with Robert P. Atone, telling us that you took him to what he described as a goth supper club, where the music was very loud, but the food was excellent, and I just
and as well
envisioned.
as her husband.
Yes.
Did
yeah.
he tell you? He tell you that he got a goth girl bathwater beverage?
Oh, he did. He did mention that, and that like just sounds.
It's in my
hilarious.
acknowledgments.
I love it.
Oh,
I mean, he
love
did
it.
tell us that if he bled, his blood would have glitter in it.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Doesn't surprise
Yes.
me.
No,
Yeah, the
love
bar
that,
I
and
took
I
him to
just
is
think
called
about.
Noir.
I just think about him sitting there with this music blasting, drinking his goth girl bathwater drink. So
Yeah.
We love it. We
thank
love
you
it.
for taking him and experiencing that. And we will actually see you at Horror Reader Weekend not
Yes.
too long from now.
Yes, I'm so
we will be
excited for
there.
that.
I did ask Adam if we could come up to the WB and actually come to one of your signings.
I mean, we absolutely could, obviously.
Are you guys like kind of local to me?
Yeah, I used to work in the WB market. Like, I
We're
love it
in
up
like
there.
South Central Pennsylvania, like the
About
Harrisburg.
2.5.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so like I
cool.
was
Well,
like, can we go? And
I'm
Adam was like, I really would not like to. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Dude.
No, I did. I said, can we go for your birthday? Because like
Yeah.
I really wanted to go for a signing because I love it up there. And
well, no pressure at all, but I'm doing another signing in Scranton at Friendly Alien Books on the 26th of
yeah, I
October.
love it. And there's a Krispy Kreme right up there, which we don't have. Listen, let's get our priorities
We
straight.
got,
And I love going to what's the
the Noir Dark Spirit.
no,
up there,
that's
right?
not what I was
That's
going
not
to
up
say.
there yet?
That's the
It is.
bar that I took Robert to.
No
Okay,
way.
see,
Okay, that
yeah,
makes a
that's
lot
the
more
one.
sense now.
Okay, but I was
Yeah,
going to
and
say I'm talking about the Jewish deli.
Which one?
I know what you're talking about.
It's right on
called
the main street,
Abe's.
and I love
It's called
Notel.
Abe's.
Yeah, it's the best. You will never have a better freaking sandwich.
Okay.
Like if I go up there, and I used to go up there for work, like I would take orders to bring sandwiches back because it was like, don't you dare go up there, and to go to Old Forge and grab a pizza.
Oh,
Adam.
their
See, that's
pizza's
all I
so
got to say to
good.
Adam. Is
Yes.
the Old Forge. And
A red pizza.
See, my husband is from Old Forge, so we fight about this all the time, but I don't think that pizza is very good.
yeah, no. What is that? So it's the self-proclaimed pizza capital of the world
Yes,
for
Ravello.
Forge.
Very
Yeah, Ravello is what you like.
self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
There's like a really that movie theater Uncle and
Montage Mountain.
I got a margarita there, watched a really good movie. It
Yep.
was like in the theater. It was like it's the theater to go to.
Yep, feeling it.
Yeah.
See, I just sold him. I just talked him into it.
All right, let's do it.
I'm telling you, I gotta go. Some of the stores in our little shops in downtown Scranton are
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yeah, my younger daughter,
Have you
we love
guys-
the aquarium.
Have you been to Noir Dark Spirits?
No, I would
No.
love to go if you'd like to go.
Well, you guys really need to go, and if you do, tell me so that I can meet you there. Just like I took Rob there, I'll take you guys because it's like my favorite place. And I host a horror writing group in that same building,
my
like
God,
right down the
yes.
hall.
Amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Notology in Scranton?
So
Like
I have a
personally?
gift card to take my daughter there, but I haven't been yet.
It is one of my favorite places. I'm just gonna like shout her out real quick, Danielle. No business or anything affiliation, but she was a psychologist and she started working with people to like ways with like mental health and things like that for like ways to just feel calm after they would have therapy sessions and whatever. And so she started like making soap and putting these different scents and things into it. And people started like coming back and just asking her for more and more of it. And eventually she started like studying more on the science and like therapy of scent. And so she ended up getting like so busy and working with this that she was like, I have to either continue to practice like psychology or I need to move into doing this as a business. So that's when she started Notology. So you go in and you make your own custom perfume scents of
Mhm.
anything and everything you could possibly imagine. And so I love it because whatever is the most personal scent to you, and it was pretty fascinating the way they described it is like sometimes people like a really disgusting scent that like my older brother loves the scent of manure. And she's like, no, that's not weird at all because a lot of times that scent could have been like you were in the car laughing with your parents as a younger kid, like you wouldn't even know from a formative age, and that scent was there. And so it actually brings you pleasure. So it's kind of fun to
Yeah.
just discuss all the psychology with it, but you and then they keep your whatever you've created on file. And so
Oh, that's cool.
I keep rationing the scent, but I mean that could be something really cool and killer for you to like
Mhm.
put out with a book
For
or to have as a
sure.
Mhm.
writing group or
Oh,
you
yeah.
know a specific scent that you create to go on with your band because they teach you all about like the top, mid, and bottom notes. And yeah, it
Yeah.
was a really fun time. I hope you'll check it out.
So we'll make some perfume or
For sure.
cologne and then go get drinks at
I
work,
mean, it's a
and then
At Noir.
yeah.
it's an underkept secret in my opinion.
Scranton is the hippo of the world.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yes.
There's so much.
There we
They
go.
have like they have a from what I understand, like an ice cream trail. But I mean, no, they do have so many good.
Yeah, we loved it, like, cause me and,
The Barnes and Noble up there is really nice.
yeah.
I know you're signing there.
We have the we have Black Cow ice cream, which is, like, totally a gothic ice cream place. It's black. I mean, it messes with the color of your poop, I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
cool.
that
I got a
happens to people up
Terrifier
at
I got
Colorful Mint.
Terrifier ice cream from there.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
no, it's I would love to do that. And I think like, visit Scranton. It's a great place. And
Mhm.
at this time of the
The
year in the
Electric City.
fall, the
Mhm.
Electric City is beautiful with
Mhm.
I mean, it's close to like Jim Thorpe and a
Oh,
lot of
what was
things.
it? We went to a coffee place that was so
Yep.
good there too. I
I
can't
don't, I
remember
was
what it was.
working.
It was good.
But yeah, I mean, definitely like we'll set it up and it would be great to do all that with you.
Well, this was
Awesome.
so much fun, genuine pleasure. Hopefully, when
Yeah,
that
this was a
super
great first podcast
Yeah!
for me.
I'm so happy to hear
You're
that.
great. And
So,
let's set up our animal watching video. I got to
absolutely.
do it
And when that super
Okay.
secret project is coming out, we'll talk again
and
and your
come back
middle
on for
grade and
round
all that
2.
stuff for sure.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, have
You.
a good
Okay,
night.
bye.
You too. Bye.